Hey y'all, so today I got another video from Adam Ragusea, or Ragusea, however it's pronounced, and this one's called Why Rare Steak is Safe, but Not Rare Chicken. So let's see what this guy, who used to just be a cooking channel, who now thinks he's a medical expert, wants to tell us how to eat our food. And something I think is fascinating is this happens with a lot of cooking channels. A lot of cooking channels like lose their mind and they start talking about random stuff. It's like, bro, just put the hot dogs in the pot, bro. I don't want to hear about this stuff. So
of course I like my steak medium rare, but it doesn't always come out perfectly evenly. Sometimes the steak has a thick part and a thin part. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe I'm just not the world's greatest cooker of steak. Crazy idea. So when I make it, I always try to tack toward it being a little bit too rare. I'd really rather have one little part of it be rare and the rest of it be perfectly medium rare than one little part of it be medium rare and the rest of it be medium.
of course, because cooked meat is disgusting, bro.
Who eats their steak medium? I'm sorry, I don't mean to judge you. But what makes this...
I've always thought it's so funny, like, people who eat steak are so, like, disgusted by people who overcook their steak. But then when somebody eats it raw, it's crazy. Like, bro, these prejudices don't make any sense.
This rare piece of steak totally safe to eat when it's quite dangerous to eat a rare chicken breast.
It's not, bro. Like, I literally eat raw chicken every single day of my life, and I have never once gotten sick from it. How do you explain that? Am I the luckiest man in the world? Because I don't feel like I am, but maybe.
Or maybe even a rare hamburger. Well, let's head to the Center for Food Safety at the University of Georgia and talk to its director, Dr. Francisco Diaz-Gonzalez.
Bro, can you get away from the camera? What is this? Bro, back away from the camera, please.
When the muscle is being intact, let's say in a piece of red meat, the contamination might be at the surface. So as long as...
That's not true, and I know this from farmers. If you ask farmers, when you slaughter a cow, the freshly slaughtered meat, you can literally see parasites like leaving the meat and parasites like crawling around. There's parasites in everything. There's bacteria and parasites in every single cell in the body, so... Of course, but you know, these people say, "Oh, it's only on the surface."
It's been perfectly cooked on the surface, then it's most likely going to be safe to consume.
And if you want to understand why that's the case, you got to think through some kind of gruesome stuff. A lot of the bugs in beef that can make you sick, like E. coli.
E. coli is not a bug, and E. coli is in every single human body, and E. coli is a generic term because there's literally billions of different types of E. coli. It's like saying humans. Do you mean Stacy? Do you mean Chad? Do you mean Roderick? It's too generic. You have to say what strain are you talking about? Right? What strain? Because I'm telling you, there's literally billions of E. coli. There's undiscovered strains of E. coli.
They don't really live in the muscle itself. They live in, let's just say, the animal's digestive system.
Why do you think it's in the digestive system? Why do you think there's E. coli in the digestive system? Because it's literally crucial for digestion, and it's the same thing for humans.
We also have other pathogenic bacteria such as salmonella that could also be carried by cattle in their intestinal tract and eventually when the animals...
Of course it's in the intestinal tract because it's crucial for digestion, and it's the same thing for humans. There's literally absolutely zero evidence any of this causes disease.
Slaughter, the carcass could get contaminated and it could still be in the surface, but if you cook it...
First of all, with most meats today being factory farmed, the process is so fine-tuned and so perfect, there is zero chance of contamination. Even if it's contaminated, there's nothing to worry about. And this is all bogus because, I mean, if you test a piece of raw meat, I guarantee you it's going to test positive for E. coli, Campylobacter, and Salmonella because it's on everything. It's literally on everything.
Well, then you won't have any problems.
That's why the equation with ground beef is totally different. The outside part of the meat that might have been exposed to those gut germs in the slaughterhouse has been mixed in with all of the other parts of the meat.
And this is true, and this is actually why I tell people not to eat ground beef. But it's not because the bacteria is all mixed in together. It's actually because it is a very common practice. If you buy USDA meat, this is true. practically all the time, unless the factory workers get lazy and don't do it, they spray the meat with an antibiotic serum, with some kind of antibacterial spray. I don't know exactly what chemical it is, but it's an antibacterial chemical that they spray on it. And when you get like whole cuts, you can just scrape a thin layer off the top to get rid of this antibacterial coating. But if it's ground beef, the antibacterial coating gets all mushed in like that, and you're basically eating antibiotics when you eat ground beef. And if you cook it, it makes it even worse because the bacteria becomes so toxic. So first of all, the antibacterial spray will obviously kill the bacteria, and then new bacteria will be exposed via the air, and that bacteria will eat the dead bacteria, which then creates toxic byproduct. When living bacteria eats dead bacteria, it creates a toxic byproduct. This is why if you eat rotten pasteurized milk, you can get sick as fuck because the bacteria has toxic byproducts that can make you sick. It's the same with this ground beef, and then you cook it again, it makes it even worse because you cook anything, you make the toxins more available. So I mean, this is a great example of normies being right for the wrong reasons, but bro, you don't have to worry about the bacteria.
The outside is on the inside. Salmonella and E. coli can be particularly heat resistant.
Bro, get away from the camera, and also your teeth are kind of fucked up, bro. What are you doing so close to the camera?
So that's why the expert advice is to cook ground beef to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot.
Bro, I feel like I'm being like sexually assaulted. Can you step away from the camera?
Now what about chicken? You're supposed to
Thank you, please.
cook
Thank you.
chicken all the way through to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of whether it's ground or in a whole piece or in a whole bird. What gives?
Chicken there's plenty of evidence in the scientific literature that pathogenic bacteria can be internalized inside of the chicken pieces. So
That's true. There's tons of bacteria and parasites inside of the muscle, but this is true for beef as well. Why would it be true for chicken and not beef? It makes no fucking sense. Like, these people they don't know what they're talking about. And again, this pathogenic bacteria, it's not pathogenic. It's not bad for you. There's no evidence. There's literally no evidence.
you should not compromise on eating a half-cooked piece of chicken because that's the possibility.
And when people say, oh, where's your evidence? There's no evidence. My evidence is that I literally eat raw chicken every single day of my life and I've never gotten sick. That's better evidence. And these little fucking, this text on the computer screen, people say like, oh, well, there's 3 reports of the...
You will find organisms such as Campylobacter or Salmonella that they're still alive and may still make you sick.
All right,
I'm not going to make you sick.
165 for poultry. How about fish?
It varies from species to species, but in the case of fish, we're eating a lot of sushi right now.
And by we, Dr. Diaz means you and me, not him. He's kind of squicked out by raw fish, perhaps as an occupational hazard of being an expert in foodborne pathogens.
He's not an expert. Not at all, bro.
But
What it is like he pretty much just brainwashed himself. If you're scared of raw chicken, like he literally just brainwashed himself into being afraid of healthy food.
Being very honest regarding the literature, if you look at how many cases of sushi related to its consumption, there are not that many actually. You gotta be acknowledged.
one reason
Yeah, there's not that many because all the cases of people being sick from raw fish is because they either ate super contaminated fish like salmon. You can get sick from raw salmon. I have a salmon video. I'm not going to repeat myself. Watch my salmon video if you want to know why salmon can make you sick as fuck even when consumed raw. And then there's other factors like sushi is almost always mixed with rice. And you can get fucked up from the rice. Like a good example is if you cook rice, you leave it on the counter for more than 4 hours, new bacteria feeds on the dead bacteria, and it creates toxic byproduct which can make you sick.
reason for that might be that a lot of even very good fish these days has been flash frozen.
Freezing can kill some pathogens such as Vibrio. Freezing
The freezing from these scientific studies, I've read them, it mostly only kills parasites, and you have to freeze it for like several days to actually kill the parasite. But again, these parasites do not cause the parasites detoxify your body. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but they're not going to make you sick, bro.
Helps.
Lastly, let's talk about pork. The United States Department of Agriculture used to recommend cooking whole cuts of pork to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. This was guidance that basically every competent cook ignored. And indeed, in 2011, the feds relaxed a little bit and said that 145 degrees is just fine, as long as you let it rest for a couple of minutes to let the internal temperature go up a little bit, which is a good thing to do anyway. And 145 post-rest is going to look like this. Slightly pink pork. Very tasty.
That's like pretty much beef, bro. And people say pork is like the worst meat, maybe besides chicken. Like they say it's the worst meat when it comes to getting sick or whatever. But bro, that's literally like beef levels. Like that's like medium rare or whatever. If there was any parasites in the pork that's supposed to make you sick, that would be enough to fucking get you sick, but it doesn't, because again, the parasites are not a concern.
Old, more conservative guidance was based in part on fear of trichinosis, a really terrible parasitic disease. But thanks in part to improved practices from the pork industry, cases of trichinosis are way down in the United States.
You want to know why the cases of trichinosis are lowering? It's because human bodies today are so full of toxins that hurt the parasites that the parasites purposely choose to leave. You know, if you have trichinosis, you can drink a bunch of salt water and you'll shit the parasites out. The reason why is because the parasites, when they are attacked, they will leave your body because they feed on your dead cells. They're basically janitors. They feed on dead cells. However, if you consume something that tries to kill these parasites, they will leave your body. All this toxic food people eat today, the excessive salt and all that, damages or kills these parasites, and that's why they're leaving the body, because they don't you're gonna kill them, bro. It's a symbiotic relationship. They work with you and you work with them. Listen, bacteria and parasites aren't dumb. Have you ever heard of that saying, like, don't bite the hand that feeds you? You know, people are like, the reason why lions and tigers and whatnot in captivity won't kill their owner is because you can either get fed every day or have a big meal for one day and then, you know, be put down for what you did. It's the same with these parasites. They're not trying to kill you, bro. They're trying to feed off your dead cells so they can stay alive in your body, help you out. But if you're not helping them out, if you're trying to kill them with taking these fucking parasite cleanses and shit, that's why they're leaving in droves, bro.
States, and most people who get it here seem to get it these days from wild game. That said, bacteria...
Also, by the way, the way they diagnose trichinosis is by symptoms. Like, they'll just accuse people of having trichinosis. Like, there's like these like wild cases of trichinosis. It's more than likely a guy just ate like some bear meat and it was like highly detoxifying, and he went to the doctor's office and like, oh, you got trichinosis because it's wild game.
Like salmonella can still be an issue with pork, mostly on the outside of the muscle for the same reasons as beef. So pink pork chops are just fine, but pink sausage is a bad idea. You know, I think it's totally impossible to write cooking show copy.
Bro, please get away from the camera.
That doesn't
whatever, that you guys get it. I think this is kind of a short video. Depends how much I rambled for. I didn't see. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you're having a good Thursday. And it's almost time for the weekend. And hey, also, you guys know that little competition I'm hosting for the $40? I'm thinking of extending it and raising it to $100. Just saying, I need another day to think about this, but I think it's a plan, because I think $40 is not motivating enough. But hey, either way, I appreciate you guys' support. The views have been like really consistent lately, and I'm appreciative of that for sure. So I'll see you some other time, and I love you. Bye.